Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, class. Our class today will discuss about teaching strategies in English teaching and learning. And we have already talked about some skills in English previously in previous meetings. So today we have Miss Ambrina Roshada with her presentations, and I hope you can take note some of her slides, and you can prepare some questions that you will ask to her later on after her finish with her presentations. So please, Miss Amrina Roshada, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Afternoon, all the Honorable Mrs. Sherly, as the lecturer of speaking class, and dear all of my friends who join in this presentation. Thank you for giving me time. Therefore, I could deliver my presentation today based on an article by the title Active Learning Strategies in Synchronous Online Learning for Elementary School Students, written by Puspanda Hatta and her team in 2020. There are 5 chapters in this presentation. The first is introduction, including background and objective of this research. The second is literature review. The third is methodology, including design, sample, and procedure of this research. The fourth is findings and discussion, and the last is conclusion. First, introduction. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all aspects of social life, including education. Based on the circular of the Minister of Education and Culture, almost all provinces in Indonesia issued study from home instruction by utilizing online learning media. There are many kinds of learning media for encouraging online learning, such as Google Classroom, Zoom, Ruang Guru, and others. But in implementing online learning, various difficulties have emerged, starting from the technical side to the human side. However, this research discusses the appropriate online learning strategies, active learning strategy, and approach to use during pandemic, especially for synchronous interaction models. Next, literature review. First, the researchers used previous study that be related to this research. As Mahmoud stated on 2020, his research described the technical problems experienced by educational institutions during online learning for their students. And in another previous study, the problem of online learning lies in interest, motivation, involvement, activeness, type of material, and infrastructure. Based on Liu's statement at 2012, lack of motivation resulted in suboptimal learning outcomes. And next, based on Green's statement in 2004, there was evidence to show that students who were active in learning had better cognitive abilities. In online learning, there are several approaches to create teaching and learning activities more interactive, so the student can be more active, such as dividing the class into small groups, carrying question and answer, leading discussion, and providing problems that can be solved together. So, The active learning component in the online class are the use of student response system, think, pair, share, 1-minute paper, small group discussion, and short student presentation. Methodology. This research used qualitative methods with a narrative research approach. The narrative approach was used to explore problems encountered by teachers in learning activity, especially those related to interaction between teachers and students during COVID-19 pandemic. So, this research used interview to obtain data and triangulated techniques to validate data. Next, the participants of this research were 20 elementary school teachers from several regions in Surakarta, Central Java. Next, findings and discussion. Findings. After doing observation and interview toward the subject, the result of this research is the majority of problems faced by teachers are student boredom and inactivity in participating in online learning. It was evidenced by the summary of interview. 70% of students are lazy to learn, less enthusiastic about learning, and neglects assignment in online learning. Here, the active learning strategy chosen. The purpose of this strategy is not only to encourage students' participation, but also to stimulate them to think about what they were doing. Next, discussion. When applying this strategy further, the active learning strategy, it is necessary to consider how effective this strategy is for the achievement that will be obtained by students. Next, so from the explanation before, it can be concluded that active learning can be chosen as a synchronous online learning strategy in elementary school. The implementation of active learning can be carried out optimally to manage students' abilities in order to obtain optimal learning outcomes. In its implementation, active learning can be used as an instructional activity that involves students in doing something and thinking about what they are doing in participating in online class. So that's all from my presentation today. Thank you for your attention. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Miss Amrina, can you show the first slide, please? Well, class, actually, what has Miss Amrina talked about is quietly similar to what happened in our class, right? So in speaking class, we already set up the whole semester in some of, like tasks, online tasks that you all have already maintaining your time. But in fact, as you know also that many of your friends in speaking class didn't come up with their tasks, and also their schedules like scramble up because they have internal and external factors maybe, so they cannot submit their tasks, right? So talking about learning strategy here, I really appreciate what Miss Amrina talked about and trying to present to us and delivering new knowledge for us today. So here, what I want to talk about here is about some active learning that the writer of this article trying to digging up from the activity of this research. Next slide, Miss Amrina. Okay, later on, if you find out a kind of task to write research article, you maintain yourself and trying to make an outline just like what this slide shown up. So you came up with introductions, literature reviews, including previous studies. And in methodology, you need to explain and little bit more descriptions in the type of methodology of the research that you use, and also like the instruments or the data analysis that you need to come up with in this part. And then the finding and also discussions is the result of your process of research. So you have to report all the whole process of your mini research, and you can write it down in paragraphs, of course, and like service all the data and your result of analysis of this data into a good systematically structures in finding and research and finding and discussion of this research. And in this conclusions part, you need also to show up the strength and also the weakness of your article. And then you can like encourage the reader or the next researchers to put your own research article as the references. So you give some kind of curiosity and also the main materials for other people who read your article to write the same thing or the same theme of article and research. And it will make your names or your article put it in their references, and it like a plus point for your article. Okay, next slide, please, Miss Amrina. The slide that describe about active learning, Miss Amrina. Next. Okay, this one. Okay, if you see this slide, you can find some of our way of learning strategy in speaking class, like short students presentations that we are doing now. So the students come up with some materials and they can present it in short time, and they try to understand it and think about this article is just like their own article, and they try to present it, and they like open the discussions, and they share their thinking about something that they presented about. So you can also try to make the same strategy later on when you have internship programs or PPL. So your student can be the main focus of the whole process of learning. It's named, or it's called like student-centered learning, not teacher-centered learning. So you prefer to choose your students to like talking in the whole time rather than listening to teachers to explaining something. Okay, it probably quite interesting, and like making your students speak up rather than just listening up to the teachers. Okay, but again, sometimes in this pandemic and online learning, usually some of the students face difficulties in like finding stable signal or network of internet, or something like uncompatible device like using old cell phone or Android, and other technical problems. Okay, can you feel it too, Mr. Alif Rahman? Can you feel the same as as the students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so you always like pending, and like need more time and more time and another more time to finish your task, right, in speaking class. So I hope this article that has already presented by Ms. Amrina will motivate you to like more like doing your tasks, your pending tasks, and quietly submit it before the final terms test week. Okay, thank you for your attentions. And if you have any other questions, you can ask Ms. Amrina or me in our WhatsApp group. Remember about that. So we will see again in next sessions of presentations, right? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.